Hi, I'm Scott Moeller. Welcome to the Game Caddy Play channel. About 10 months ago, I started a round at Seaside with Collin Morikawa to demonstrate how to use the wind features of the Game Caddy to play that course. It's the actual course's name is Pebble Beach. And as you probably know, that's a pretty windy course in real life. And APBA captures every bit of that in their rendition, which is called Seaside. It is a J-rated wind course, meaning that you can't have calm winds on any day. You have to deal with at least moderate or blustery winds if you're playing, the strict APBA rules and following the course notes that come with Seaside. Now, you might ask, well, you said you started this round 10 months ago. What's taking you so long? And that's a fair question. The reality is that I'm easily diverted, got sidetracked with other projects, including fixing parts of the Game Caddy that weren't working the way that I wanted them to work back then, and adding additional courses that people have sent me, and doing a whole bunch of things. And so while I was playing with Game Caddy version 5.3.2 10 months ago, today we're going to be playing with Game Caddy version 6.2.1. So if you've seen that earlier video of the front nine, you're going to notice that quite a number of things look different. But the good news is that the wind functions for the Game Caddy, when it comes to Seaside anyway, work exactly the same, even though the look might be a little bit different in this version of the Game Caddy. And I might add that, I'm constantly updating the Game Caddy, sometimes with just slight changes, sometimes with more significant changes. So, by the time you see this video, you may have version, 6.3 or version 7 or even a later version than that. So, bear that in mind. Things in the video may not look exactly the same if you're using a different version of the Game Caddy. Okay, enough about all that. You're, of course, looking at hole number 10 here at Seaside and Collin Morikawa's card. And you can see that this is his 2019 card. I'm using that particular card because he won my replay of the US Open at Seaside that I did. And if you want to read all about that, you can find more information on the Game Caddy website. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead here and shoot over to the Game Caddy screen. So let me do that. There we go. And I'm going to disappear. You don't need to look at me. So let me make a little change here, and you'll have a bigger view of the Game Caddy. And remember what I said, we're using Game Caddy version 6.2.1 for the back nine here. So we'll go over here to the scorecard and kind of review where we left off. And Collin had some challenges. It was a little bit of an up and down round for him on the front nine, if you haven't seen that video. And he ended up being 2 over par. And that was primarily due to some putting difficulties. He hit his fairways, 86% of his fairways, and 67% greens in regulation. But you'll notice that his longest putt made for 9 holes was only 4 feet, and a total length of putts made of just 17 feet. That is close to a record. I think the record that I've got for 18 holes, and I might be off a foot or two on this, but I think it's the record for fewest total length putts made, I think, is 34 feet. And so if things don't improve, he could end up breaking that record. All right. Now let's go over here again, because you may not have seen the first video, or if you did, it was probably a long time ago. And let's look at what our conditions are. We're using pin number 1. We've got blustery day conditions, and we've got normal course conditions, meaning that we won't have any additional fairway adjustments in terms of roll, or green adjustments in terms of roll. We have a wind type of A. It's a meaning that's a prevailing wind type of A. I want to show you the configuration settings just real quickly here. This looks very different than how it did it in version 5.3.2. But the things that we care about are the wind controls here. And so we'll be using the modified setting, and I like to minimize the amount of dice rolling that I have to do. So we'll have the Game Caddy do auto rolling. So I've got that box checked. The dog leg procedure is the original one, and I'm gonna turn off this dog leg roll distance adjuster. I'll click on that to turn that off. What that does, if you don't remember, is it is an algorithm that simulates the manual counting of your roll, or let me start that over again. It's an algorithm for the dog leg that approximates what it would be as if you were doing the manual grid line by grid line dog leg adjustment, for moderate or severe dog legs. If you don't have that checked, all it simply means is that it's going to be pure mathematics, meaning that if you are supposed to go 5 yards to the right for every 5 yards through the dog leg, the Game Caddy is going to calculate that in just that fashion, which can sometimes produce results that are mathematically correct, but are not what you would get if you were to manually count the actual grid lines. And this DL roll distance adjuster uses an algorithm that approximates, what it would be, where that ball would end up if you were to do it by hand. That's all I'm saying. And I'm just going to turn that off because for me, sometimes the result that you get using this algorithm is strange, but that's just the way the algorithm works. So for example, you might roll through a dog leg, and because of the way that algorithm works, that ball might not move at all. So anyway, that's probably more explanation than I needed to go into here. And we're just going to leave everything else the same, because this is how it was set up for the front nine, and we'll be using regular putting boards. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Apply Settings to close that box. And again, when you make adjustments on the configuration settings menu, you have to be careful, because some of those adjustments can change your wind. So you remember we have blustery wind. So I'm going to come back here and return that to blustery. This is really the one that you have to watch out for. Okay, I think we're good to go here. I'm going to come over. I've already put Collin's information into the Player One Caddy, and what we've got are his master game ratings here, and then he's used already 1 momentum point and 2 bounce back points. So even though he got a bogey on this last hole, we're not going to. We've exhausted the bounce back points, so we'll have to just grip it and rip it here. All right, so let me hold hole. Excuse me, I got the wrong course here. Let me load hole number 10. All right. Let's see if we. So hole number 10, prevailing wind A, which is what we've got, is a tailwind. So I'm going to come over here and click on tailwind. And our dice roll is 53, and we've got blustery conditions. So we're going to get some wind on this hole. But that's the only note pertaining to wind. So we can click continue. So we're going to have a variable tailwind, which will affect the second shot. Excuse me, the second part of the shot. We won't know what the wind is until after we take the shot. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. And the other note we have here is that shots landing beyond the 325-yard mark and before the 450-yard mark bounce 5 yards right and then roll 5 yards for every 15 yards of roll. So let me come back over here and show you the course. Okay. And that's what these little blue arrows are. These are, they are not actually on the APBA course board. I put them there myself as a reminder to, follow that note if the ball lands in that vicinity. There's one other thing. I'm going to move Collin's card off of here. There's one other thing I want to address that didn't come up in the front nine. The notes for Seaside say that if a ball lands or rolls onto a cliff, then the shot should move 15 yards towards the water. And basically it's this note right here. And which is fine in most situations. I mean, if you were to have the ball land or roll here, 15 yards would put you on the sand, and then you could play that as a sand shot if you want. But you can have some circumstances where if you go 15 yards towards the water, you're still on a cliff. And the rules aren't really clear about what you're supposed to do in that situation. Do you roll another 15 yards until you get off the cliff, or do you just leave the ball there? And the way that I'm going to play, you play whatever way you want to, but the way that I'm going to play it is that's going to be an unplayable lie if we run into that situation. So we'll have to take a penalty stroke and then drop the ball, somewhere in this, vicinity if it happens in this particular location. But let's hope that doesn't happen. I know some people play that if the ball is over the cliff, it doesn't matter that this is sand down here. They just consider, that ball as a penalty stroke, but I'm not going to play it that way. And you can see our pin position number 1 is up here. And so for the tee shot, what I want to do is I want to try to put the ball here. That'll leave me short-sighted for my second shot, but I won't have to deal with the cliffs if I can successfully pull that off. All right, so let's come back over to the game caddy and open the all-in-one menu. Oh, I forgot to select 3 clubs. I do remember which 3 clubs I had. I had the 4-wood, had the 2-iron, and the 3-iron. Okay, now let's do it. All right. So we're going to get some wind on this. And with the 260, the thing about the driver is that you can get so much left-right movement with the driver that as much as 50 yards, not counting any wind effects that might, add to that, which would, either put us in the sand or on a cliff. So, but if I go with a 4-wood, that's 235, and that's just barely gonna clear that cliff area that I showed you on the previous screen. So I think I am going to use a driver, and what I will do is I'm going to aim. I think I'm going to aim 20 to the left. And I'll take a distance adjustment with that of 5 yards. All right. And let's see what happens here. 61 in the W column, that's a 7. So that is going to go left unless the wind helps straighten out that shot. And it does a little bit anyway. So that ball gets blown an additional 25 yards carry, and it loses 5 yards of the left roll of the leftward movement. Okay, so the wind was 20 left. If you want to, think about this as 20 minus 5, that's going to be 15, and then add another 10, that's going to be 25 left, and that's what the new ball location tool shows us up here. So that ball goes 270 left 25, and then I get 25 fairway roll, assuming, of course, that I'm in the fairway, which I may not be. But let's look at where 270 left 25 is. All right, 270, 10, 25. That is in the fairway. All right, that's okay. And then 25 roll, 10, 25. So that's actually fine. All right. So 295 left 25 in the fairway. Okay, so let's see what we got here. We've got a carry objective of 215 yards, a 2-iron, but it's 210, but with roll would go a lot farther than that. A 3-iron is 200. That's probably the club that we want to use. So let's take a look here. 3-iron, 200 yards. We know that that's 215 to that point there, or actually that point there. So 200 would be right about there. I'm a little bit nervous about these cliffs here, because if I go 15 to the left, it looks like I'm going to hit a cliff at that point. Oh, excuse me, 15 to the right. So there's not a lot of leeway with this. I'm short-sighted. I could work the ball to the left, but Collin has a C rating for working the ball to the left, so that could backfire. It could actually throw me farther to the right. And we've got a tailwind, which tends to straighten out the shot. Lots to consider here. There's going to be a certain amount of luck involved with taking this shot, I think. I'm going to hit a 3-iron, and if I go long, I'll probably just end up in the sand trap behind the green, which is better than going over the cliff, I think. All right, so let's take this and hope for the best. I can't knock this shot down. 32. That's a horrible number. Okay, that's going to be a 24 in the W column. Let's see what the wind does. So it gives us an extra 5 yards, and if we're not going to be on the green, so we don't have to worry about that green roll. So it goes 490, right 30, and then 15 fairway roll. So 490, right 30. We're going to be over the cliff, I think. There's 490, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, right there. Yeah. So again, I said I'm just going to play that as if it's in the sand, because it's a beach, right? That's sand. And we won't get any roll because of that. All right, so let's come back here. And then we're going to call that in the sand trap. And because that's within 100 yards, we're going to click sand trap instead of fairway bunker. All right. Okay, so now we have a good angle from east of the target, which means, again, if you've watched some of these videos, you know that this is from the east, and our other option is from the south, which I'm going to take. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to aim for this spot right here. I'm going to aim for the six pin location. All right, and that way, if I'm off a little bit, I can still be okay. Let's see what we've got here. I have no sand points. Sorry. So first of all, let's change the path and make it from the south. I am going to stay at 5 left, but I'm going to change that to 500. Okay, so click 25 to 45 here. Our call distance is 35 now. And oh, there's one other thing I may need to do here that I have not done. I was using this for a different. I want to get rid of this. I was using this for a different course that I'm playing, and I forgot to change all that. So that just gets rid of that there. That's the scramble adjustment tool, and Seaside doesn't have any notes that apply to that setting. So I'm just basically turning that tool off with what I just did there. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the shot. A 26. All right, that's a 12 in the A column. I'm going to be happy with that. Hole plus dice roll. All right, so we'll close this and click Control D. And unfortunately, when you add those two dice, that comes up to a 10. So it's a 46 or a 4 plus 6. That's 10. We'll put a 10 in the putt distance. Could be a lot worse. I'm not complaining. Oh, I hit calc. I meant to hit ball on green tool. So, all right, not paying attention. Let's go ahead and put a 10 there and click the ball on green tool. I didn't need to hit the calc button. I was just forced to have it. All right, 10 feet away. Now this is for a par. We'll go over here to the putting boards. Let's see if Collin can sink this and save par. 24. He does not, because that's going to be a 28, which it is on, I think, everybody's card. A 28 from 10 feet. It's going to miss by 3 feet. And then a 36 in the P column is a 24. And from 3 feet, that's good. So his longest putt remains 4 feet. All right, so another bogey on that hole. Okay, all right, so let me swap out hole 10 for hole 11. And we'll take a look at what's in store here. I'm going to go ahead and load the hole. .56 and A is a headwind. And we got some other things going on here we'll come back to, but that's the only thing that pertains to wind on the tee shot. All right. So now we're going to have a variable headwind after we take our shot. And let's take a look at the, well, tee shots are going to carry -21. We might as well put that in and take that into account when we look at the course. The second shot, so this hole plays uphill, is going to carry another -10. All right, well, I'll deal with that when the time comes. All right, so we're gonna lose 20 yards off the bat here with this hole. You can see where pin position number 1 is, a little bit right of the center line there. So it's close enough to the center line. We don't have to really worry too much about whether we're short-sighted, but we'll probably try to aim for somewhere in this vicinity and try to stay clear of the out of bounds over here, as well as, you know, trees and all this other stuff. This is a gentle dog leg, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, all right. All right, so let's open the all-in-one menu. 260, and of course that's going to be -20, so that's going to be like 240. So I'm going to aim I'm debating whether to do 5 or 10 right. I'm just going to do 5 right. All right, and we'll hit the driver and see what this headwind does. An 11, that's a 2. Take the shot. And the headwind knocked us down another 20 yards and took the ball an additional 10 yards right. So I ended up going 30 right, which is not great. I could end up in that deep rough. So 240 right 30, fairway roll of 30. 240 right 30. This wind is not my friend. 10, 20, 30. No, I'm just in regular rough here. And then roll 30, so that means 15 roll. So I'll end up in the regular rough, and I will not be blocked by trees in that position. Come back here, put a 15 in for the adjusted roll, 255 right 30. And we are in the regular rough. Now, second shots carry -10, so we'll put that in. Shots landing in right rough greater than 340, roll backwards 10 yards. Okay, well, that's our next shot if we end up in the regular rough, which could be important if, we're going for the green and we end up here somewhere. Could end up just rolling into this bunker. And of course, we do have the out of bounds still over here. Got to be a little bit careful. I'm short-sighted, so I can't aim, and I don't really want to work the ball with him for all the stated reasons. So what I'm gonna try to do is put the ball here if possible. That would be an ideal shot, but recognizing that when you're in the regular rough, it's really hard to hit close to the center line without making some other sort of adjustment. And we've got this headwind. So maybe if I can, I'll knock this down. See what we got here. Yeah, I can knock it down. All right. So, so because the Game Caddy, when I opened the all-in-one menu, did the live rolls for me. Okay. I lost. Well, so I gained an additional 10 yards. Okay, because of how my ball is sitting in the rough. So that's a good thing. I also gained an additional 5 yards of green roll. Okay. So that means the ball's going to, and balls that are in the rough, hit from the rough, tend to roll more anyway. So I could end up with quite a lot of roll here. But I am going to be able to use a shorter club. So a 150 would put me right there. But because of, and that, see that, and that 150 comes with a 7-iron, which normally doesn't roll, but it may have like 5 yards roll if it's in the rough. I've kind of forgotten. I don't try not to be in the rough, and I do want to knock this down. All right, so let's do a 7-iron knockdown and see what happens. And then shots landing, rolling on those red hash marks, they roll backwards too. And then first putts from behind or right of the pin. Oh my goodness, lots going on here. I don't like it when there's all this business. So these are the red hash marks. If I hit here, it's going to roll that way, and that's why these arrows are meant to show. And if I'm right of pin 1, it's going to roll in that direction. Let's see what happens here. So we've got our club select, the 7-iron. We've decided to knock it down. Let's just see what happens here. 14, who knows? 18. I have no idea where this is going. All right, well, we had no wind. So 380, right 15 with 5 fairway rolls. So or 10 green roll, depending on, but right 15 is not going to be on the green. 380, right 15. So 60, 70, 80, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm in a bunker right here. I'm not rolling anywhere. Right there. All right. What am I doing? I must have double clicked. All right. Sand trap again. All right. The good news is we're only 15 yards from the pin. That's 15 yards the way APBA counts yardage. So, okay. So I got a buried lie. I can play safe or aggressive. I'll play safe. So I'm going to choose that. And then select the 15 yards here. And let's just see what happens here. 53 is a 6, which is a good number, but hopefully this buried line isn't going to bite us. And it does. Okay, so it's going to add some additional putting distance. So I end up 7 feet away. That's fine. I mean, really, considering what could have happened there. So off the top of my head, I don't know what a 6 is from that distance hitting from the sand, but whatever that number is, some additional footage was added because of the second lie roll, because of playing it safe from a buried lie. Again, if you didn't understand all that, all I'm really saying is it's following it the way the master game rules tell you to do it. The good news is if you trust the game caddy, it'll do all that stuff for you, and you don't really have to understand exactly what happened. But if you want to, you can, the information is in the game caddy, and you can click on lies tabs and things like that to explore everything that I just said. But I'm not going to spend the time to do that in this video. There are other videos that show you that information. So 7 feet away, I've got to put that ball on the green. And let's go to the putting boards. And we don't know where this ball is. We just know it's 7 feet away. We don't know if it's from behind or right of the pin. So we don't have to make that adjustment. And I hit the count button again, which I didn't mean to do. Obviously, I'm not great at multitasking. So put that 7 back there. I'll hit players to putting boards. All right, let's go for it. A 36, a 24. I cannot putt worth a darn with this card. So he's going to miss that by a foot. And then a 52 is going to be a 21, which from 1 foot is good. So I am really struggling with the putting here. So you can put a lot of strategy into all these shots, but if you can't putt, it does not make any difference. You are not going to score well. And, you know, again, after 11 holes played, I only have 21 total length of putts made. That's incredible. And I've racked up 21 putts to boot. Okay, let's go over and look at hole number 12. I'm going to load it. .31, and I'm going to have a little bit of wind here. So this is going to be a crosswind left. We'll put that in, and I don't see any other wind on this particular hole, or in terms of notes. And we're going to carry. We're hitting downhill a little bit, so we're going to carry an additional 10 yards. So let's take a look at the actual hole itself. And I got to swap out some boards here. All right. So here's what we're looking at. It's a short par 3. And again, we've got some red crosshairs over here. All shots landing or rolling on the red crosshairs. Roll 5 yards forward and 5 yards left before completing any further roll. All right. So they would go kind of in that direction. That's there. All right. Not a lot of ways to get in trouble here unless something screwy happens where we go way right and out of bounds, but we don't have that much wind to really have to factor that in. And the wind's blowing to the left anyway, so we do have 5 yards to the left. Unfortunately, that pin placement is over there on the right, so that does not work to our favor. Let's open this up, the all-in-one menu. Okay, our carry objective is 195. 190 would get likely 10 yards of roll, which would probably take it off of the back of the green. See, this is where Collin has an average W of 5 and an average I of 6. This is really the opposite order that you would prefer these to be. You'd prefer the average W to be one number greater than the average I. The reason for that is it cuts down on gaps like this that I'm showing you. So 190 to 175. That's a 15-yard gap in the club selection. Whereas if it was the other way around, you can faintly see it because it's grayed out, but it would be a 185 to a 180, and that would just be a 5-yard gap. Okay, little strategy tip there for you. So what am I going to do? Well, a 175 is going to be a 185, of course. That's not enough club. I mean, that's just not enough. So I'm going to end up hitting a 4-iron and hope that he doesn't get all of it. And I'm not going to work the ball because the likelihood of me even getting this ball on the green is probably pretty slim. I'm just trying to avoid that, big bunker in the front left. All right, so a 14 with a 4-iron, which is a W, is a 12. Goodness sakes, where is this going? So this goes 205, right 20. All right, so we got a pin high, but we're way to the right. And then 15 roll if I have any roll. So 205, right 20. That's 205, right 5 there. And 20 would be 10, 20. So I hit that regular roll, and then I said 15 roll, which will reduce down to 10 because it's in the regular rough. So missed that by a fair amount. All right, so 10 roll, 215 right 20, regular rough. But I'm still going to be 15 to the pin, so there's not much thought involved for me here. Just select this, hit it, 63. In the A column is an 11, which it is for most players. And that's going to put me 11 yards from the pin. I'm going to probably bogey this again. I mean, why would he make an 11-foot putt? He can't make 7-foot putts. All right, so we'll put that ball on the green, and we'll go for it. This is a miserable round. 31 is a 22 from 11 feet. Missed it by a foot. Here we go again. And then, of course, double ones for the second roll. Isn't that the way it always works? That's a 4 in the P column. Obviously, that's in. Wow. Oh. Once again, I mean, this is amazing to me. 22 feet of putts at this point. Okay, let's go ahead and load hole number 13. I guess this is the kind of video that's encouraging for people that have been playing APBA golf and they've been wondering, geez, what have I been doing wrong? I'm not shooting very well. There must be, something I should be doing differently. And, maybe that's true, but I can tell you, even though I've played APBA golf a ton, if you don't get the rolls, you don't get the rolls, right? Whether it's for putting or anything else. And Collin is not a strong putter, at least his card in 2019 was not strong for putting. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but the rolls I'm getting are pretty awful. So a 26, we've got for the prevailing wind A is a crosswind left, and plus carry minus 5 yards. I didn't see that. All right. Well, we don't have any wind. All right. So let's see. Let me read how that is on the actual course board, and I'll show it to you here. All right. So it says prevailing winds type A is a crosswind left. All right, we know that. Then it says also deduct 5 yards extra flight. So that would be minus 5 on the carry. So it's almost like a quartering wind, right? But I would only do that if I had any wind. If I don't have any wind, I'm not going to deduct that extra 5 yards. Now, is that the way that it's meant to be played? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I should always deduct that extra 5 yards regardless of what the wind is. Now the game caddy will let you do it either way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Control C here to bring up the wind rolls menu. All right. Now it's done another roll for me, but you'll remember the roll that I had in there was a 26. So let's put that back. Okay. And we can ignore these over here. All right. So what we could have done, okay, is a -5 for the carry there. And I'm using the adjust wind magnitude. Okay. And then we have a choice here. Do we want to do this if there's any wind? In other words, only apply this if there's any wind, or apply it no matter what that's there. So let's just apply it. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Either way. No, and I've got to put the crosswind left here. I forgot to. There we go. So we've got everything covered here. All right. So I'm just going to end up with a -5, but I had no wind left at all. So we just have a -5. Again, I don't know what was intended by the course designer, and it probably doesn't matter. Just do whatever makes you happy. Okay. So let's go back and look at this again. We're going to lose 5 yards carry. This is a 445-yard par 4. It'd be nice to have a good angle here. If we could put the ball here. But let's look at the hole note. All shots landing in the fairway roll left 5 yards. All right. So if it hits here, it's going to roll 5 yards that way before completing any other roll. So we want to make sure it carries at least 260. Remember, because we're going to lose 5 yards. So that would be 255. So that the ball's in the fairway. Okay. And we can aim a little bit right to compensate for all that business over there. We want to do that. So let's aim 10 right. That way I don't lose any distance. And let's call up the all-in-one menu. And we'll hit a driver, which is 260, which is our default. So I'll just click on this. 31 is a 4. So that's going to go right. That isn't his average W. So, I mean, we'll be in fine shape, I think. 260, right 25, plus 25 roll. Now, it's going to bounce 5 yards left before starting any roll if it's in the fairway. And I believe this is going to be in the fairway. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that 5 left in here now. So that's going to be 260, right 20, and then roll 25. 260. 10, 25, and then that's fairway. So then back to 20 and then 25 roll. 10, 25 right there. All right. And so we'll have a good angle for our second shot. Back here, 25. All right. So we're at 285, right 20 in the fairway. And we have nothing affecting our second shot except for this wind. So, and this carry objective takes that wind into account. So that's a 175. If I knock this down, it will eliminate that wind because it cuts wind in half. So that'll be a 1. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit a 5-iron, knock down, and aim 5 left. All right, here we go. 56. Oh, boy, these rolls. Oh, I spoke too soon. That is his average eye. It is a 6 on his card. All right, so we'll put a 6 there. Take the shot. Wait a minute. Average eye. I want to take that average eye. I want to reduce it by 5. Sort of lost my focus here. Okay, 450, left 5, and I get 5 green roll. So I ended up rolling 5 yards past the spot, which is okay. That's just going to put me right there, 1 square away. And I think that's on the green. This is hole number 13. I'm going to pull up my little tool here. So one square past is right there. That is on the green. Okay, so good shape. So 1 straight away. Hit the count button. 7 feet again. And this is now for a birdie opportunity. Come over to the putting boards. Come on, Collin. 42 is a 23 from 7 feet is another 1 footer. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then double ones for the second roll again. Oh my goodness. Well, at least it's for a par this time, but still. I'll transfer those putts over. Another 2 putt. Okay. Let's load hole 14. No sense whining about it. Or should I say, whining any more about it. All right. So a 53, we got a crosswind left. All right, let's see. No other special wind things on the tee shot. Oh, the wind is going to change for second and subsequent shots. So that prevailing wind A then becomes a headwind. So we start off with a crosswind left, and then we'll have to change that to a headwind. And then again, the question becomes, do you re-roll for that? Or do you use the original roll that you had for the hole? There's not clarity on that. What I tend to do is to use the original roll. So I just need to remember that this is a 53 when it comes to applying it to the second shot. I'm gonna have to call this menu back up again. All right. Now, if you want to play it differently, you can. The game caddy will let you, but I'm gonna change whatever that dice roll is when I call this back up to a 53. Okay, so that crosswind left is in essence going to become a variable headwind on the second shot. All right. This is going to be a par 5. Let's take a look at it here. Got some red hash marks up here. My pin location number 1. But, you know, we've got this dog leg here, and this is a severe dog leg, which is going to, I don't think it's going to be a factor for Collin because he's not a long hitter. He's not likely to hit far through that dog leg. At most, it might push him over here a little bit, I would think. What we want to avoid is going out of bounds here. And that's the risk that you run when you're using the driver. What I'll do is I'll aim 15 to the left just to be on the safe side. Okay, and we got all kinds of notes here that we'll deal with later. All right, so I'm aiming 15 to the left. I'll lose, of course, a little carry on that. I'm going to be blown to the left. Hopefully, I'm not going to be blown wildly to the left, but you never know, right? So we got the driver selected. All right, let's go. 45 is a 6, so that's going to go to the right. Make the shot. And it went a little bit more to the left. So, and we got a carry of 5 to the left with that crosswind left. That's interesting. Okay, so 255 left 5, and then a roll of 25. So 255 left 5, roll of 25 is right there. And he didn't even get to the dog leg. So 280 left 5, and that's where we got him. That's in the fairway. Okay, now here's what we have to do. Second and subsequent shots, prevailing wind is a headwind. All right, so let's do Control C. And we're going to put a 53 back in here. And we're going to select headwind this time. And now we've got this second roll headwind. Shot, okay, so shots landing on the red hash marks, roll half mark. Resting on red, go back 10, except off on pin 3. Okay, and then first putts to pins 1 and 3, which we do have because we are playing pin 1. Use 2 columns longer. Oh, great. Okay. All right, well, he's not going to reach the green on this. He's 300 yards away from the pin. So we just want to hit a 4-wood. We've got a headwind, and we just want to hit it straight. You can't aim on a par 5 on your second shot unless you're going for the green, which we realistically can't do. I could work the ball to the left. I'm not going to do that because of the C rating there. Let's just roll the dice and hope for the best. 33, that's a 3. That's going to go a little bit to the left. Let's see what happens with this headwind. So it'll blew us another 5 yards to the left. So it'll be a total of 525, left 15, 15 fairway roll. So 525, left 15. Okay, that's intermediate rough. So we do get the full 15 roll. So 1, 2, 3. So we're going to be in the intermediate rough, actually in pretty doggone good position right there. I'm very pleased with that. All right. And we weren't anywhere near those red hash marks. All right. I'll update that. Intermediate rough, but that's going to be the same as a fairway given our distance. So 45 yards to the pin, and we will target the pin. I've said this on other videos. I do not apply these kinds of hole notes to approach shots, meaning shots 100 yards or closer. I do apply them to WI shots. And the reason being, of course, I don't know, we're using the, having an approach shot, whether it's the game caddy or you're just playing regular old Apple golf without, benefit of the game caddy, you do not know where that ball landed and you don't know where it rolled. You just know where it ended up. So I do not use, I don't apply these. It's just for WI shots. If you want to play differently, go for it. Okay, 45, going right for the pin. A 56 is a 7 in the A column. And that's going to put us at 585, right 5. So we're going to be past those hash marks anyway. So we're going to be one straight pass. So 585, right 5 means we're going to be right in that spot right there. And that is on the green. One straight away. Now this has got to be 2 columns longer. So hopefully we'll get a break here. Of course not. 11 feet. All right, ball on the green. So we're actually now putting. Here's 11. We have to putt from this distance here. And I'm going to go for it. And it's got to be just first putts, I think. All right. 44. Finally gets a decent roll, which is an 8, which would have been good from 11 feet. And it's good from the 20 to 24 foot column. An 8. It's in. Wow. I'll take it. We actually birdied that hole. All right, and that rocketed his total length putts made up to 34 feet. All right, I'm very happy with that. Okay, let's load hole number 15. Let's come over here. Yep, hole 15. '52. Prevailing wind A is a crosswind left, and doesn't look like we have any other wind effects. We are going to add 15 yards to the tee shot. So we'll go ahead and put that in while I'm thinking about it. Lots of wind, lots of wind. Oh, we have a birdie now. We could actually use a momentum point if we wanted to. All right, so let's take a look at this. So we're going to get 15 yards. So he's going to probably carry this ball. If I use a driver, he's going to carry it about 275. Now, we got a deep bunker here we want to stay out of course, because you can get in those and it can take you a couple shots to get out, which isn't fun. And then we've got some first putts from the right of the pin, which we could end up right at the pin. All right, that's going to be result one column longer. Okay. So, all right. So, you know, we don't have a cliff here. We just got, looks like deep rough, and this is a road. This is a cart path. That's not water. There, these are cart paths. So this is the main thing we got to worry about with that extra 15 yards. We could definitely end up in that deep bunker if we use our driver, and we're being blown to the left. What do I want to do? Do I want to hit a 4-wood and go 250? Yeah, this isn't a long hole. I don't want to risk that deep bunker. I'm going to go ahead and hit a 4-wood, and I'm just going to aim right down the middle. I'm not using my, why wouldn't I use my momentum? Let me think about this. So if I use my momentum, I can't aim or anything. I got a crosswind left that's unpredictable. That shot's going to go 260. I can make it go left 10, which would miss that deep bunker unless the wind blows me 5 yards to the left. All right, well, let's take that chance. Let's go ahead and use it. Using my momentum. All right, so I'm going to select driver again. All right, and I'm going to put the 5 in there. I'm going to reduce the 5 yards, and let's just hope the wind doesn't get me. Let's see what happens here. No wind. So 275 left 10 with 25 fairway roll. So 275. Let's put that right back there. Left 10, 25 fairway roll. He's going to put me in intermediate rough. That's just barely in the intermediate rough, which will probably be okay. I mean, you never know, but it's not the deep bunker. So we'll do 25. 300 left 10, intermediate rough. And let's see what happens. Yeah, so it had no effect. So, and we're 105 yards out. We can actually use the approach caddy, and it would be the same as hitting from the fairway, which I've got a crosswind left. That means I can't knock it down if I do that, though. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, you can't knock down approach shots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a sand wedge here, knock it down. I don't want to go long. I don't want to go over the back of the green here. So I'm going to hit a knockdown sand wedge, which will put me on the green. I may not be close to the pin, but I'll be on the green. Sand wedge, knock down. I'm short-sighted, so that's not a factor. And let's just see what happens here. 32, that's not good. That wouldn't be good with anything. 18, and so it got rid of that 5 yard left that I would have been blown. So 395, left 15. with no green roll, but I'm not going to be on the green. I get 5 fairway roll. So 395, left 15. And that, my friends, I think that's, can't tell on either screen. Let's see, 1, 2. Let me back it up. Maybe right there. 1, 2. Yeah, I'm in the sand trap. Okay. All right, so and I'm going to 10 to the pin. I don't want that. Don't know why I did that. Yes, I do want that. I don't know why I didn't think I needed it. Oh. All right, so it added additional putting distance because I opened and shut this twice. I didn't have anything in there originally. So I'm going to get rid of that. All right. So 10 to the pin. 64 is a 6. So I'm going to be 2 feet away. Ball on green. But I've got to use 1 column longer. Well, no, I don't have to because I don't know where that ball is relative to the pin. All right, so from 2 feet, 44, that's in. That would have been in from that longer distance even. So that's in. Okay. All right, hole number 16. And we're not going to have any wind here. It's because the dice roll is a 16. I could click crosswind left, but that number is below 26 or 26 or lower. Yeah, so I could just leave it the way it is, or I can click that crosswind left. You'll see that no wind shows up. Let's see. Okay. And then tee shots carry 15 yards and roll 10 yards. All right. And then second shots are going to carry 2. All right, let's take a look at this hole here. The pin is right here. We don't have any wind. On days when you have wind, or for this particular hole, you got to be careful you don't hit the ball too long, because remember what I said, that with approach shots, you can't knock them down. So you can actually find yourself having to deal with a lot of wind if the ball gets within 100 yards of the pin location. So, but we don't have any wind today, so that's not a factor. Maybe we'd like to be over here. So do I want to aim? We've got this dog leg here. Let's see. What kind of dog leg is it? Let's see what the game caddy says. I'm having trouble finding it there. The game caddy has it as a normal dog leg. So we do have that going on at the 245 yard mark. So it's going to push me left if I go through that dog leg, if I'm coming from the right. So I'm just going to leave well enough alone. I will hit a driver. .35 is a 4. So we're going to see the dogleg tool in action here, I'm pretty sure. So at 280, yeah, you did. Because the shot went 265, right 15. But because of the dogleg effect, it actually lands on the center line at 280, which is in the fairway. And then we're going to add 25 roll. So let me just put the 25 in here. And that's going to, again, the dog leg is going to push that ball farther to the left. So that's 305, left 10 is where the shot ends up. So 305 left 10. Perfect. Right there. And we've got a good angle. Okay, now we're kind of in the same situation as before with this 105 yards. Do I want to take an approach shot? First putt's right of the pin, 2 columns longer. Well, that I don't know that can happen given that pin placement that's so far over there on the right. Okay. Second shot. Oh, second shots carry 10 yards. I just now noticed that. Okay, so if I'm using a sand wedge, I have to put this in there. So that's going to make that 95 yards. And if I hit a knockdown sand wedge, or if I don't knock it down, all right, what do I want to do here? This is like right in between choices here. Let me use the approach caddy, okay, and show you how that works. All right, so let's turn the path button on here. We're going to hit from the south. All right, now because of where my ball is, which is 10 yards left of the center line, and the pin placement is 5 yards right of the center line, the called distance is now 110 yards. It takes that lateral distance into account. But it says second shots carry an additional 10 yards. So that means what I really want to do is I want to target a spot that is 100 yards away so that it will go the 110. So if I put 400 in there, that 400, okay, is actually targeting the pin location. Let me show you what I mean. Remember 400 right 5, okay, and now this little red thing has gone off because this number is 100 or lower. It removes the warning that I'm trying to use the approach caddy from a distance that's too far out. All right. So what's going on here is that because of that extra 10 yards carry, okay, I'm really targeting, this is 400 right 5 here. So 85, 95, 400 right 5. But it's a downhill shot, right? So it travels an extra 10 yards. So I'm actually targeting this location, but because of that 10 yards of extra distance, it really means relative to this spot right here. So it's a little bit tricky to get your head around. Okay, so in order to be able to, so remember now, shots end up relative to where you're targeting. So I'm going to select 75 to 100, okay? And I'm going to take the shot and roll to 44, and that's going to be a 5, okay, in the A column. And so this says 395, but it's actually 10 yards shorter. So I really want it at 405. Right? Okay, so let's come back here, right on the center line, 405 on the center line. So it's 375, 385, 395, 405. So I am one diagonal away. If the logic of that makes sense to you or not, but it's all because of this second shots carry plus 10 yards. And presumably because it's a downhill shot and you're getting extra distance. All right, so 13 feet away, and we don't know where this is. Ball on green. This is for a birdie now. 13. 56 is a 24. Missed it by 2 feet. And then a 64, that's not a good number. 23 from 2 feet, though, is in. All right, so we ended up with a par there. A little bit of an unusual situation. But the game caddy can handle it as long as you understand the logic behind things. So let's look at hole 17. Hole 17 at Pebble Beach, a famous hole. 55. Prevailing wind is a tailwind. Okay. And then we're going to be hitting downhill again. All right, so we'll do that. So a tailwind, I'm going to add 5 yards. And let's take a look at the actual hole itself. Right there. Pretty tough pin placement to even get the ball on the green. Obviously, we want to work, not go over here, the cliffs, the water, all that bad stuff that's there. With any luck, we'll just have a long putt. And you can see that, for all first putts that cross the center line, so you have to read it one column longer, right? So if we end up over here and we're putting to here, then we got to add an extra column of distance. A ball on a cliff or a beach is considered to be a lateral hazard for this particular hole. Okay, so forgetting what I said on hole 10, if we're down here, it's no longer being played from the sand. All right, let's go back and look at what we got. Okay, carry objective of 210. I don't know how we get anything. These shorter hitters really don't have a chance on this hole. 190, 200. All right, I'm going to hit a 3-iron and close my eyes. I could work the ball right or left, but I'm not going to be on the green unless it's just dumb luck. 41 is a 6 for a 3-iron. And I've got a tailwind, carry 5. So it goes 205, right 5. So, and then 10 green roll if I am on the green. So 205, right 5. $85, $95, $205. I am on the green. How about that? And then I roll 10, right? So I'm going to roll into this bunker. Yeah, I mean, ridiculously hard hole for APBA. All right, let's add the 10 green roll in there. Going to be back in the sand. We're going to be 10 yards to the pin. 14 is a 15. And we're going to be 11 feet from the pin. And we don't know whether we're crossing the center line or not. So we're spared that indignity. Okay, 11 feet going for it. 65 is a 20. Not a great number for that. 11. Nope, missed it by a foot again. We're back to our old ways here. And then 51 is a 19. That's a good number for that number roll. That's in. So we bogeyed again. Okay. Let's look at hole number 18. And we're going to have some wind again here. So crosswind left. All right. So looking at the hole. This is a tough one. We got to clear this water here. 240. All right. And then we could end up, if we're over here, we could end up blocked by the tree. I don't know if that tree is there anymore. So we kind of want to aim for this general area. Let's put hole one here. All right. Yeah, I'm going to hit a 4-wood, and I'm going to aim 10 right. And we've got a crosswind left. Wonderful. An 11 is a 2. And we got blown a little bit to the left as well. So 260 right 15, 15 roll. 260 right 15, and then 15 roll, 5, 10, 15. So we're to the side of that tree. And this tree here is not big enough to block anything. And we would be going, yeah, because it doesn't, and at no point does it take up a full square. So it's not a big enough tree to affect anything. So we're okay in that spot. I just need to put the 15 roll in there. Fairway. And here's where you got to be careful. Can't aim because it's a par 5. I'm going to hit something like a 5-iron. I just kind of want to put it down in here somewhere. I'm not going to get greedy. I can't reach that green no matter what I do. So I'm just going to hit a good old 5-iron. And you know what? I'm going to knock it down too. 12. What's a 12? A 12 is a 17. So I didn't get any wind, and it goes to the right, thankfully. 440, right 15, 5 roll. Good enough. All right. So 110 is the carry objective. If I hit a gap wedge, that could go too long, and I need to knock down whatever I hit. So I'm going to hit a gap wedge. I'm going to knock it down. I'm short-sighted. I'm not doing anything fancy here. 12 again. 17. 550 right 15. So, and then 5 fairway roll. I'm going to probably be in a bunker here. So this is 5, 15. Excuse me. What? Did I say that right? Oh, 550 right 15. 5 roll. Okay, 550. And that's where that pin is. That's 550. So 15 right. Right there. I'm in a bunker. Okay. 15. Now, what am I doing here? Don't do anything there because I don't roll. And then the sand trap once more. And 10 to the pin. So select this, roll. 43 is a 7. So I've got a 7-foot putt for par. How appropriate. Let's see if I can sink it. .64. That sounds familiar. 23 from 7 feet, misses it by 1 foot again. And then a 44 for the second roll. Unbelievably bad putting. I had one really good putt on the day, and everything else was terrible. All right. So ended up with a 6 over par. So 4 over par on the back 9, again, due to horrendous putting. 33 putts in all. Actually, I had one fewer than the front 9. I had 16 versus 17 on the front 9. But a total length putts made 40 feet. That's definitely in the top 10 or low 10, depending on how you think of it, of all-time shortest distances of putts made for thousands of rounds of APBA golf that I've been associated with. Longest putt made was 11 feet, and that was that birdie over there on 14. I do want to correct one thing that I said back on hole number 10, and I just missed this, and it's because I haven't played Seaside in forever, and I noticed it on other hole that we played, and I want to correct myself before I end this recording. So if you can see down here, this hole also had a ball on a cliff or beach. It says in considered. It should be is considered in a lateral hazard. So I think I had a shot that I played from the sand. I don't remember where it was, if it was down here or elsewhere. I should have taken a penalty stroke on that and dropped the ball from, the point that it crossed that hazard. That's my bad. That would have made me at least 7 over, I'm sure, if I had played that correctly. But I didn't notice that, and that note I think appears pretty much on every hole on Seaside where cliffs are involved. So, well, that's it. That's how you play and handle the wind at Seaside. I hope you found that helpful. And if you like dealing with wind and small greens and a very challenging course, go out and get yourself Seaside if you don't have it already. I've played it a ton, and I strongly encourage you to play it with guys that can putt and guys that can hit the ball straight. Until next time, grip it and rip it.